What a turnout. I thought there'd be a lot more people on the last.
You would think.
Hey, you've been consistent, consistent people showing up.
Gosh. Okay.
What was the day that you had the most people?
What's happening here?
Probably Tuesday.
Volume? Page Zoom.
Ooh.
This is awful. Okay. Welcome.
Oh, hello.
You need to take a test.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Hey, Aiden. No, you're not Aiden. God. Nick.
Yeah.
Okay. We are starting a little bit late today. I've had to relocate and go into Mr. Taylor because my projector decided to break. So we're gonna start momentarily. Of course, the board behind me you can't see, nor can I zoom in to see the question. Okay. You stay here.
Like me, so use lightsaber. Disney best lightsaber.
I know. You had to get this.
George Lucas was like, hey, will you be in Star Trek? Yeah, get a purple lightsaber.
And you know what?
Lightsaber.
You know what he has inscribed on it?
What?
His character.
Nice. I love Samuel L. Jackson. He's great.
Hey, okay. You're more than welcome to go in the hall or come in here, whatever you want to do. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, kids. I don't know why I can't see a little bit of the screen. Wait.
Do you need me to reach?
No, I need to. No, don't hit your desk. I need to stand on it.
Everything is unable except.
Why? Why is it like this? Why?
Zoom in.
Oh God, what's it?
Keystone?
Oh.
Well, the keystone's off too.
Oh.
Imagine being blind.
Still see.
No, you can't.
Perfect.
Quick word.
Kind of.
Alright.
I don't like.
This is not okay.
I
Okay.
can help you. I'll just grab a pair of scissors.
No.
All right. Hopefully you can see that on the screen a little tiny bit. We have no smart screen. This does not touch. So, how you guys doing?
Use expo markers on it.
I guess I could use. I know I can use expo markers on this. All right. Let's talk about money, monetary policy, and all that. All right. There are three functions of money. Anyone remember what they are?
To
Functions of storage
value.
Store value, medium of exchange,
And then there's something about storage value.
unit
And it's something of account.
of account. Okay. So money can be anything as long as it can do those three things. Medium of exchange means to do what?
It's like
Like
you
it has to be.
You use it
can
to
exchange
trade.
for anything.
Right. Buy things. Exchange it for goods and services. Store value.
can use it later.
It's
It'll
worth
be
something.
Yes, it keeps its value over time, so you can save it and buy things for the future. And then
unit of account.
unit of account.
That's comparing different the value.
It puts it in the same unit of measurement of value and of accounting, so you can compare prices and be like, well, what's more. It takes it out of comparing apples and oranges and comparing apples and apples. It's like this is worth 3 apples versus 5 apples. Okay, now I can understand. Let's talk about the M's. So we have the monetary base, M1, M2, and M3. And it goes from highest liquidity to lowest liquidity. Highest in the middle, lowest on the outside. What's the monetary base? That came up on our mock test.
Cash and coins.
Cash and coins. Physical cash and coins. How's that different than M1 though?
And one is like checking.
Right. And checks and debit cards and things that are connected to checking accounts.
Venmo.
Venmo as well. Even though Venmo is not physical cash, so Venmo would not count towards the monetary base, but it would count. Welcome.
Welcome.
You found Cooper.
Yeah, I did.
Yes. I mean, sure. I don't care.
Would
my
Bitcoin be
friends-
part of the monetary base?
Where's the paper? Can you start one?
Yes. With what?
Sorry, Nick, just take paper and just start a sign out sheet. Nick, sorry, what?
So like for Bitcoin, would one Bitcoin be in the monetary base for Bitcoin?
No, because Bitcoin isn't physical cash.
So it just be in that.
Bitcoin isn't even counted in our currency because it's not regulated in any way. It's a cryptocurrency, so it's not considered M1 because it's not connected to a checking account or anything like that.
So do you think of one day like create a whole system just for that, or is that already been done?
Well, because there's not one regulating force, it's not going to be part of anything because it's an unregulated. Like all of these categories are set up by the government.
Yeah.
Of like, how do we calculate how much money is in circulation? They need to.
So do economists just completely ignore Bitcoin, or is that like a completely separate topic?
It's on a separate topic of just like cryptocurrencies and like.
Stocks? Is it like similar to stocks?
Well, stocks is not money. I mean,
So
Bitcoin.
cryptocurrency is money, but it's not regulated, so it's not an M.
Yes. And so M1 is going to include the cash and coins, but also checks and debit cards. Traveler's checks are also in there. What's M2?
Savings
account
accounts.
plus M1.
Yes. And small time deposits. What's a time deposit?
It's like you can only open it at a certain time.
What's another way to say it though?
Is it a
Certificate of
cash?
deposit?
Certificate of deposit, which is a what? CD. So
Oh,
CD,
okay. So, like-
certificate of deposit, time deposit, those are all the same thing. People are like, they memorize it as CD and then it comes, and it says time deposit and people are like, what's that? We don't learn, like, that's the same thing as a CD. M3 is going to be like long-term CDs, money market accounts. Basically think of it as if you don't know what that type of account is, it's M3. Like if you're like, oh, I've never heard of that. Yeah, it's M3. Okay, so sample questions are going to be like, all right, how about this? This is different. If the Fed sells bonds of say, I don't know, $10 million worth of bonds to our favorite term now, non-bank public.
Yeah, that's me.
What happens to M1? What happens to M1?
It's going to decrease.
What happens to M2?
It's
Also going to
decrease.
it's not shift since it's less money.
Right. So like it takes $10 million out of it. Like we're assuming that they're paying cash or maybe out of the checking account for these bonds. Because the Fed sells the bonds go in the place of the cash. Cash gets taken out. The cash gets taken out here and here and here and here. And so you're like, is there ever a time that M3 changes? Yes, if they are exchanging cash for something that's not cash. But if it goes from like cash to checking or checking to savings or savings to CDs, those are all M's. So M3 is going to stay the same. But since a bond is not money, that's how monetary policy works. It's exchanging money for not money. Or they're exchanging something that's not money for money. That's how they can control all these circles is by bonds. Since bond is not money, they can regulate all of the circles at the same time. Aubrey.
Okay. Since they're selling it and they're taking people's money and they're taking it out of the circulation, right?
Then all the circles get smaller. It's not just going from savings to checking or checking to savings. It's not just a recategorization of the money. It's complete subtraction if it's selling bonds or addition if it's buying bonds. Yeah. So which one of those M's is money supply? M1. So if we're talking about the money market graph, what kind of crappy classroom is this? No. Erasers. Oh, what is this? Oh, no, that's a charger.
He doesn't write on the board.
How?
Dang.
There's no erasers. Those Taylor series.
Okay, dryer sheets.
Why is that same equation up there, Kristen?
They following us.
Because it makes me sad.
Dang.
We already solved it.
Okay.
Let go of your passport.
Here's our money market graph. What's on the y-axis?
Nominal interest rate.
Nominal interest rate.
And then do
Because
that.
banks deal with real interest rate.
Yes. Nominal interest rate, quantity of money. What does money supply look like?
Straight up.
Right. I saw a lot of FRQs when we did the FRQs last week where people were drawing upward sloping graphs. No. money demand is downward sloping. We have our equilibriums. What shifts money supply?
Um,
The Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve, and the tools of monetary policy. So, monetary policy shifts. Monetary policy shifts money supply. What is the most widely used monetary policy tool?
wouldn't it be the
Bonds.
Bonds. Another way to say that would be
securities?
market
securities and open market operations.
Because bond is no homo.
Yes, because of James Bond, and he provides security. And James Bond, no homo. OMO, bond, security. Yeah. Patrick's getting a little preview of AP macroeconomics. All right, so how would the Federal Reserve increase money supply with bonds?
Buy them.
Buying them back.
Buying them,
Buying them.
because that puts money in exchange.
Yes, I buy a bond from you, I give you money, you now have money, and money supply increases, shifts to the right. Selling bonds is contractionary. So I remember that because buying bonds, this is buy bonds, this is selling bonds. Do you remember my little acronym? Spring break, yes, SB for sell goes to the left, buy goes to the right. Of course, this is from the point of view of the Fed. Because it's not, Aubrey buying bonds, it's the Federal Reserve buying bonds. It's Jerome Powell buying bonds. Speaking of Jerome Powell, how many districts, regions are there in the United
12.
States?
8, 14,
12. 12.
Those are between the two numbers I said, so.
Yes,
The average of
the range.
Stop.
Let's say, what is the name of the committee that does the monetary policy?
FOMC.
The Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC. The FOMC.
There's
Uh.
5 presidents, 7 representatives, and 4 full, right?
Yeah,
We'll all take turns.
Because there's 12 people always there.
yes, yes. Okay. Oh, does anyone remember how long someone could serve on the Board of Governors? Like,
Indefinitely.
no, not
30
indefinitely.
years.
Like the terms.
30 years.
Yes, they can serve indefinitely, but it goes in terms. Like they can have multiple
No,
terms.
7 years.
14. 14.
14 years.
That's
Yeah.
how long their terms are?
Yes.
Twice 7.
Okay, but why is that important?
Because it's not lined up with election.
Right, and you're probably going to have to serve under different presidents from different parties, which means you're going to have to get along, and it's not going to be super political because you're going to have to serve under different parties under that length of time. It's just inevitable. So you're going to have to be less political and more focus on economics. Tristan?
Does that require Senate approval?
It does require Senate approval. Look at you. So the President of the United States is going to appoint these people, and they're going to be approved by the Senate to serve those terms. They can serve multiple terms, and the terms are staggered. So it's not like every 14 years we're going to get a new FOMC. It staggers. Every few years a seat will open up, and then they'll change. Okay. So if that's monetary policy, what are the other tools of monetary policy? We said open market operations. What's the
Discount rate.
required reserve ratio and discount rate? So what is the required reserve ratio? What's the definition?
How
much
much
money
money
the
money
bank has
the
to
bank
keep
has
in?
to
hold
keep?
out of the deposits.
There we go. Keyword, out of deposits. Why is that important? Because when we do bank balance sheets, it's not a percentage of liabilities.
Yeah.
It's not a percentage of just whatever money I feel like it. It's a percent of deposits. Common percents that they use on the test, 10, 20, 25.
Because they make even numbers.
Yes, and this RRR is used to figure out and solve for what?
Money multiplier.
The money multiplier. The money multiplier is going to be 1 over the required reserve ratio. So since it's going to be a test without a calculator, it has to be math you can do in your head. So 1 over 10%, 1 over 20%, 1 over 25%. Yes, they're not going to give you something crazy. I hope not.
Well, the calculus test takes me.
Yeah, they're not going to do something like that. That's
We did solve it though with Miss Finger.
It's really not that hard. I was so
We got
stupid.
them all right, or I did.
You have to use the
Yeah.
exponential.
I don't
law
care.
for every.
I don't care about calculus.
Anyway.
Yeah. I don't care about calculus. Yeah, sorry. Okay. And that's our what was the discount rate again?
Yeah.
The discount rate?
The
Rate
rate
the
that
Fed
the
charges.
feds charge the banks.
The Fed charge for banks is the discount rate.
Yes.
What's the other interest rate when banks charge from each other?
Federal
Fund rate, that's
funds rate.
between banks.
Yes, and that's the interbank
That's
lending,
the
the
friends with
overnight
benefits rate.
interbank lending from that question that y'all like so much.
Which is higher.
Which one's higher? That's a good question. Which
No,
one
I'm
do you?
saying it's higher.
It is because the discount one. Be surprised. It's called the discount one because it's cheaper.
Oh.
Wait, I thought that the Fed was like trying to encourage other banks to trade between them before you. copy
Yes.
them. So wouldn't it be higher? So it's like not as.
No, you're going to go to the Fed as a last resort. Sucks that you're there, but at least it's going to be a cheaper interest rate. The reason that you'd go there last, you're like, well, wouldn't you want to save money? They're your boss. The reason that you go to them is everyone else said no.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be audited probably. And so it's like, okay, that stinks. But a good thing is it's cheaper.
So the walk of shame to like the cheap.
Yeah, like I'm here for you to help me out. I messed up and no one wants to bail me out. They'll bail me out, but they're not going to make it pleasant. Cooper.
Increasing the discount rate, increase the money supply.
Increasing the discount rate is going to
Increase.
raise the interest rate between banks,
Which makes it
between the Fed and like banks. And so increasing the interest rate means banks are going to take out less loans from the Fed and have less money themselves. So increasing the discount rate decreases money supply. I know it says discount.
Oh.
That is not meaning it's increasing the discount. I could call it the fun happy sunshine rate. If I'm raising it, I'm raising the interest rate.
Oh, right.
Yeah, raising it does not raise the discount, it raises the interest rate. Okay, so while expansionary monetary policy buys bonds,
Lowers interest rate.
which one?
both.
Well, lowers the discount rate
Are you gonna put that?
and lowers the required reserve ratio.
Yeah.
What is this interest rate?
Nominal interest rate.
Yeah, that specific one. This one right here, where it intersects at equilibrium.
Equilibrium.
That's the Fed funds rate.
Oh, okay.
Wait, there's not a percentage. What's
The equilibrium is the nominal.
The-
Duh.
Wait, is it actually?
Yeah,
The
federal
in-
funds with
Yeah, the federal funds rate, which is the federal friends, interbank lending between friends, is going to be the equilibrium on the money market graph.
Okay.
So while the Federal Reserve can directly affect the discount rate, they can be, the Federal Reserve can directly change this. They cannot tell what banks should charge each other. They cannot directly affect the federal funds rate. They can't say it's 3% now. They can say that with the discount rate, but that doesn't matter. No one really borrows from them anyway, so changing it's like not a big deal. But they can't directly affect this, but they have the control to increase or decrease money supply. So they indirectly affect the federal funds rate by shifting money supply.
So, but what if like money demand is shifted by like some external factors?
Yeah.
Does that mean that like would that cause federal funds rate?
It would. Yes. Yes. So we have the ability to change the federal funds rate based on our own spending habits. Yeah. That's automatic monetary policy.
Without.
Remember how we talked about this?
We did talk about it.
It's on the back of my equation sheet.
Sure. Okay. That's expansionary. Contractionary monetary policy is just the opposite.
Do the other thing.
Sell bonds. Yeah.
Oh yeah, shifting monetary.
Increase the discount rate or increase the required reserve ratio. So that all right there, those are the tools of discretionary monetary policy. I'm going to choose to expand the economy. I'm going to choose to contract. Remember, expansionary increases money supply, which then therefore increases aggregate demand. Contractionary decreases money supply, which in turn decreases aggregate demand. But that's them doing it on purpose. Patrick, are you okay? Do you want to go in the hall?
No, I'll just stumble.
Okay. Any, mini, miny, mo. Any, mini, miny, mo.
Knowing Mr. Taylor would probably be
No, it's psychology. He's doing psychology.
Oh,
He's taking a psychology test.
oh.
I thought you said that was a bad heuristic.
Don't do any.
Yeah, that doesn't seem
money
like a pretty good algorithm for that.
What's your hair down?
Don't do it.
Right down to these two right here.
All right, then don't do any money.
One kind of hard like this, which is-
It's one of those.
Ooh,
Okay.
Taylor.
At
Miss Taylor, do you
least
see
you're on the right
something
track,
funny?
Pat. What?
Come here. Banks when they have to go to the feds for loans.
What am I doing?
You were trying to do a gang sign.
Oh, God. It looks like it though, but I
Can I print
wasn't.
this and put it on your filing cabinet?
Oh, Lord. Okay. So that's discretionary monetary policy, both expansionary and contractionary. But policy, just like fiscal, can happen on its own.
That's right.
That is automatic monetary policy.
That's when demand shifts.
right.
Yes.
It's like the opposite of the other one.
Okay, was I getting ahead of myself?
I don't know.
That makes sense.
Okay, so here is, I don't know. I was going to do an average supply demand graph, but we can just do money market.
Okay.
So like there was a few questions on the mock test about money demand, but I think just what, 2? Something out there.
At least.
No, not at least. I think there was just 2.
I think there were 3.
There's a lot about like
The one that
appreciation
like
and
made me cry
depreciation. I'll tell you that.
is
Okay.
But
when-
not as much about this.
Okay. All right, so here we have, and now we're in a recession. In a recession, people spend less money.
Yeah.
Consumption is going down.
Money demand goes. to
Money
what?
demand.
Right. You know what poor people don't need? They don't need money. I know that sounds weird, but they're not reaching for their wallet. There's no point. There's nothing in there. And so they demand less money in a recession. Which then lowers the what? What is this?
Federal funds rate.
The federal funds rate, the nominal interest rate.
That's cool.
And that right there will increase interbank lending because now banks can loan money to and from each other. And since it's cheaper to loan money to and from each other, they will. And that right there will then boost aggregate demand and get us out of the recession. Tristan.
I forget, whenever you're drawing shifts on like the money market graph, you have to show like 1, 2 on the.
You can, yeah. Like here, because it's the same equilibrium, you can do 1, 2
Yeah.
if it's hitting the same point. Right, Aiden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I do that?
I don't know. You were just kind of like drifting off
I
into
was
space.
looking at the Time magazines.
I know.
We got really distracted. I like during class in this field class, I would just look at that instead of like paying attention.
Oh my gosh.
I was
Okay.
counted on 3 of them.
This is automatic. Is this expansionary or contractionary fiscal monetary policy?
Expansionary.
Right, because interest rates are lower, which will then expand the economy. So
More
automatic,
investment.
expansionary monetary policy, money demand decreases, interest rates will fall down, and then aggregate demand will go up, and bam, we're out of the recession. Contractionary is just the opposite. When-
No, we haven't. I have notes about it.
In inflation, do you need more or less money when prices are high?
More.
Yeah, that was a question. Remember that question? We went over it today,
Yeah.
I think. So money demand increases because prices are high. Prices are high. Money demand shifts to the right. Go ahead. Oh, okay. And interest rates go up and aggregate demand falls because it's more expensive to take out a loan. And so people take out less loans, spend less money, and fix that inflation.
Less investment.
Less
So
investment.
GDP goes back down.
Yes, which is also called output, GDP,
Or why?
or Y, or total production, or total income,
Or CIGXN.
or CIGXN, or RWIP,
Yeah, that's the.
Rent, wage.
interest payments, and profit.
And
All right. Shall we talk about
the
Thank-
income approach.
balance sheets?
About really quickly,
Yes?
Monetary versus fiscal because I always mix them up.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. You know, say what you want about this, like,
Dryer
dryer sheet. It's doing a pretty good job erasing.
Like,
Not
it's-
gonna lie.
Go dryer
Let's
sheet.
make it
And
like
it
a
leaves
weird
like a nice fresh scent. So,
So it's not like dirty.
Maybe you
expo
just have a
marker.
bunch of them. Yeah, I think you have to use them first before you can. If we.
all right, the fiscal, what? Monetary.
It's a little monetary. I don't think that's a type of policy.
They're both policies.
Well, fiscal
Okay.
monetary policy. is policy.
Shifts AD. Shifts AD.
That's true.
Policies shift aggregate demand. They just do it different ways. Congress controls fiscal.
I thought the president does too.
Well, yes, Tristan, Congress and the president control fiscal policy, and the FOMC, or you could say the Fed, or you can say the central bank, those are all the same thing. They control monetary. Fiscal is done by changing taxes
Changing taxes.
and or government spending.
G.
And you're gonna have all of those like KS and KTs and all that. Monetary is changing like bonds, buying or selling, the required reserve ratio, the discount rate, and we're gonna deal with the money multiplier here. How was that? Good? Okay.
Yeah.
Kristen.
Banking system is
Yeah, I don't know.
excess reserve.
I don't know. Because after that FRQ that we did the other day, were you here when we went over you weren't
I
here.
wasn't here. I had an AP test.
Yeah.
Yay.
I've been out all 3 days because I had an AP test. This is my first day.
Oh, well. I don't know what to tell you there. Okay. The banking system.
Excess reserves times money multiplier.
No.
Well, okay, never mind.
Deposits times money multiplier.
Yeah,
I
because
got
that's,
that wrong.
that includes.
If it's in the bank, it
required
includes the required reserves.
But the
Because
money
that's
supply
the
doesn't
banking
include it.
system will include both excess and required, so all of the deposit.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
But money supply can only be the money that's like put in circulation and supply. Don't touch those required reserves. It's excess reserves times the money multiplier.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Economics, makes sense. If I got a tattoo, that would be it.
If I get a 5.
No, I'm not making that bet. If you get a 5, no.
What if he gets a 1?
You get a 1. Yeah,
Oh.
I'll get that tattooed.
Oh.
Because I know you would never make a 1.
I
I know that you're going to make a 5, so I'm not making that bet.
Well,
Dang it.
I mean, if you were guessing it a 50-50 chance, about like, like it's multiple choice at least.
I
Like, in
could
order to get a 0, you'd have to know every single question.
You can't
I
get a
couldn't
1.
let myself get a 1.
Oh, you can get a 0.
You can get a
Yeah.
0?
I got a 0. AP Spanish. It's a long story.
Wait, how?
Okay.
Wait, what?
I said it's a long story.
Wait, no, it's not.
Alright. Bank,
Story time.
balance.
I don't like that.
These are actually kind of fun.
No, they're not.
Oh, look, gross.
No.
Bank
Shut up.
balance sheets.
Like, it makes sense.
I know, I know. Next time I'm
Isn't
gonna be
it
like
just
drawing my
accounting?
graphs with no accesses.
Ugh.
Axes.
Axes.
It's not a graph. it's a
All right,
table.
the only way to do bank balance sheets is actually do bank balance sheets. So I have one on the board.
I can't see it. It's too small.
I'm sorry.
Put glasses on.
Okay, like that's, I don't know why the screen is so much, it's the same size, I don't know. All right, in answer to the question below, blah, 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 blah. All right, you got a Bank of Yuchenians following bank balance. Did we do this one? I feel like we did this
Definitely
maybe.
not.
Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna do it again. All right, so we have the required reserve ratio. You know what, should I read it to you?
No, no. I can't. So we have to like write down our answer for each one.
Yeah, let's do that.
Like all of them on one, or are we gonna do one at a time?
Let's do the first two, A and B.
An answer.
So we're, at least we know we're on the right track before we move on. Just do A and B right now.
Assets, loans, and property. I don't like it.
I'm sorry.
This market is too high. Where you failed.
Mhm.
This market is more.
Mine didn't either, so.
It's the end of the year, people. School supplies are running low.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it
I
works.
worked.
It's just too light.
Yeah. I got it. I got it. Don't worry, guys. I got it.
I'm so excited.
But equity was always 0.
Not always. This one isn't.
I don't like that.
I know. The ones that we've done in the past have been 0. This one is just saying that the asset side is just $2,000 more than the liability side.
Assets is 2,000 more. What is equity?
I hate this.
Assets minus
100%.
liabilities.
Wait, is it actually?
Yeah.
If it's immediate.
Given the current reserves, calculate the.
We're just doing A and B for now.
Oh,
Oh,
Okay,
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
with A and B?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cross them off.
let's start a new.
Okay, I'm done. And I didn't get what she got, so that's not a good sign. That's never a good sign.
What? Am I gonna judge you?
Yes.
Yeah, I will. Okay. Judge. All right. So it looks like I'm gonna redraw this. Reserves. Notice how it says reserves. What am I writing?
Well, actually, I got what Aiden got, so I'm a little more confident in my answer.
So you take Aiden's answer over Aubrey's?
Well, I'm just saying, if as long as I have someone's answer, I was just nervous because I thought I didn't have the same answer as anyone. Yeah.
We'll see.
Why is there a multiplier?
Because it said maximum value.
Oh.
Additional.
Smart.
All right. So
No, wait.
the RR is 20%. 20% of what number?
100,000.
100,000 of deposits. Not 20% of reserves, not 20% of everything over here, just 20% of demand deposits. It's $100,000 in demand deposits. So 20% of that being $20,000 has to be kept at the bank at all times. So $20,000 of reserves is required, leaving the other 10 to be excess. So calculate the dollar value of reserves that is required to hold $20,000.
That's what I got.
B, calculate the current reserves. Well, given the current reserves, calculate the maximum amount of additional loans that the banking utility can make is just whatever is in excess reserves. Doesn't have the effect yet on money supply, but it's just gonna be $10,000.
All right.
Okay, now it says, assume that Elike, is that how we would say that? Eliki raises $5,000 in cash from a yard sale and deposits the cash in his checking account at the Bank of Eugenia. How much does money supply immediately change as a result of Eliki's deposit?
Okay, well,
Okay.
1,000 automatically goes to reserve.
That's great. How'd you feel, Angel?
All right.
All right, okay, good.
But like money supply
Oh, yeah.
immediately or like after they make loans?
It says immediately.
Stop.
Okay, so that's just.
We're just doing letter C right now, just the immediate change of money supply.
Okay.
Okay,
This is
every
my
word
answer.
that they use in this question is
No,
important.
I disagree.
They don't give you extra information for funsies.
Is this it?
So is it this one? Just. Hold on.
You guys are capping. There's no way.
Because it 1,000 because for like required it is 4,000.
Okay, wait, are you ready to see an answer?
Yes.
Hold on.
Hey, Patrick.
I have a question on this one. It says, which of the
Oh, yeah,
following
there's a
neurotransmitters
little
has the most associated
Depression?
depression? Is that like talking about
Because of,
how, like when you have depression, you have that, or like when you treat it?
Because you can't like it's
Like
can't
this,
Like it's not in the money supply.
this
Yeah,
is
bank or cash.
most like,
Left the money supply.
this,
and went into
okay,
it,
so
too.
messed up.
Aiden.
Probably gonna have depression.
What did it checking
Hey, Dan.
account, not saving account? So it's in one.
Oh, checking account. No,
Okay.
then it's not gonna change.
All right,
$0.
But there's like,
I am going to go over here and I want to see, we're all gonna see together, this is letter C.
I was
Wait,
gonna
but
say
what if
it's
we
zero.
get spoilers?
No,
I don't want
it's
spoilers.
Or no, look, I can click the one I want.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
smart. Okay.
There's no change in money supply.
oh.
Why? Nick, why?
Because it hasn't been turned into loans, it's just sitting in the bank and it's still in M1.
And I said it's M1, because money supply is M1, and
It's
nothing
not
they
checking
say is for
account.
fun. He raises cash
Mhm.
and deposits into his cash into his checking account. They make a point of saying that. The immediate effect is basically asking what's happening to M1. M1 does not change because cash is going to checking. They're both forms of M1. Christina, like that?
I don't.
I'm sorry. Okay, now let's do D and E. Calculate the maximum change in demand deposits in the banking system as a whole resulting from Elix deposits.
So that would be my previous answer, which I forgot.
I don't know. If the Bank of East Cheney is not meeting the reserve requirement, what action can it take to meet reserve requirement without calling in loans or selling property?
Wait, what? Read that again.
It's not.
If the Bank of East Cheney is not meeting its reserve requirement, what action can it take to meet the reserve requirement without calling in loans or selling property? No. Okay. All right. Are we ready to talk about
Yes,
D&E?
this is the answer.
D&E.
D&E.
Limit does not exist.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see.
Miss Taylor, have you ever played
I was
D&D?
watching Mean Girls.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm still thinking about E. I
Okay.
can't see it anymore.
All right. Maximum change in the possible banking system is $25,000
I was
because I said the banking system, so you take his entire deposit. If I said money supply, it would just be what can be loaned
excess
out.
reserves.
But the entire 5,000. Hey, how'd you get the number 5?
1 over
1 over
20%.
0.20.
1 over 20%. And so 1 over 0.2 is going to be 5. And part E is like, how do they meet the reserve requirements? They can borrow from another bank or they can borrow from the Fed. I know it said without calling in loans. They mean without calling in the loans that they lent out to customers. That's what that
Oh, I was like, how do you
I
do this
get
without
the point of
loans?
this
means.
thing?
No, they
The loans that
don't
they
call back. Okay.
I remember that money, like, you give it back, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay,
You
here
could
we
just
go.
go repossess someone's car.
They just foreclose a home.
No, I stabbed myself.
Why?
Sorry, I can't meet my reserves. You're now homeless. Okay. That's how they work.
That was part of the contract. Sorry.
Should have read the contract.
All right, so here we have
That's my house.
it's bank balance sheet without being a bank balance sheet. It's not in a T chart, but if you look at the types of questions that's asking, it's totally a bank balance sheet question. So it says the central bank buys $10,000 worth of bonds in the open market from Elaine, who deposits the proceeds in her checking account at an MSM bank. The required reserve ratio is 5%.
This is
What's wrong with you?
it doesn't work.
Throw it away. Don't put it back in there. Don't throw it away. Don't put it back in there.
Kristen, move.
Okay.
Hey.
I told you to move.
That frightened me.
A, what is the amount by which MSM Bank's liabilities have changed? Explain. And then B, calculate the change in required reserves for MSM Bank and show your work. Make sure, if it says show your work, please, that's not a suggestion. Like, you have to as part of the point.
Why?
Because.
Okay.
So we're just doing A and B for right now.
This is Thursday, not the weekend, shut up.
That was really funny.
That's pretty good.
And I splashed my, okay, I'm fine, I'm okay.
But show your work to show just multiplying the number times 5 first. What the? Okay, whatever.
Hold on, I feel like I'm doing this wrong.
I got this many.
You know, you're supposed to have an explanation, not just a bunch of squiggles.
It's cursive.
Yeah.
Squiggles.
Yeah, I feel bad for them.
Also, which multiplication sign should we use? Like, which one's preferred?
I use a dot product.
So do I. I always use dot product.
Just little.
Just use the X.
Not
I hate
I just
X.
turned it into addition. I have little groups of that number that
Here, let's take 0.05 groups of 10,000.
That might take a
And we'll
while.
add them together.
I have. You never know.
Or maybe we'll do 10,000 groups of 0.05.
Just draw little half tallies. Where you have to have like a like a full tally, so you know that the other ones are halves, you know what I mean? Because what would a half tally look like without an example full tally?
Yeah. But you'd end up with 500
500.
tallies.
Okay, it says central bank buys $10,000 worth of bonds from a lane, who then deposits them, by what is the amount that the liabilities have changed by?
$10,000.
10,000.
Because
Is that
they
what
have
we're
that
talking
many dollars of deposits.
The response states that the liabilities will increase by $10,000. Explaining, do you have to explain?
Yeah,
you
it
did,
says
okay,
explain.
it does explain. It says by explaining that the checking accounts are demand deposits and liabilities, like demand deposits are liabilities.
What if you just said that they're demand deposits?
That's fine.
Okay.
On B, calculate the change in required reserves from MSM Bank. Show your work.
Let's see how they
times
show their work.
0.05 is 500.
So she deposits 10,000, 5% of 10,000 is $500. So you have to show your work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally how you would do it.
Miss Taylor,
What's that?
why is the liabilities not 9,500 and 500 goes into the required reserve?
Oh, because they can still withdraw the 500.
Wait, I missed your question. Can you say it again?
I said, how is the liabilities not 9,500 and 500 and it is going to the,
Because she deposits $10,000, that's still hers. She can withdraw from it at any time, so that's why it's a liability from the bank, because she can come in and take it all out, and they're gonna have to pay, which means they probably don't have any money in the required reserves anymore, so then they might have to like call in loans or whatever.
Call it the daddy feds.
Call, yeah, daddy bank. Okay,
Okay.
let's look at C, D, and E.
The federal
See?
sugar daddy.
What is the dollar value? What is the dollar value of the maximum amount of new loans MSM Bank can initially make as a result of her deposit that I explained?
MSM Bank.
D, based on the central bank's open market purchase of the bond, calculate the maximum amount by which money supply can change throughout the banking system. Show your work. And E, how will the change in money supply in part D affect aggregate demand and the price level in the short run, and explain. Lots of explanation and showing your work here.
Interesting.
Interest.
Oh, can we talk about the question on the test?
The test that's now in my room and we're not in there.
The question, I've like
Oh,
been
no,
trying
we
to
really
wrap
need help on that one.
Yeah, I really I am
Is
legitimately,
it number 50?
yes. I'm legitimately
50?
stuck. I can't.
What was 50? What's 50?
It was C, but everyone put B, and it was like, what happens to something in output? What happens to price level and output in the long run?
Long run was a recession?
No, it wasn't that. It was
No, they were in a inflationary gap. They had contractionary fiscal and monetary policy. So no.
That's not right.
It was
No, just
contractionary monetary.
Contractionary monetary, so interest rates went down.
No, contractionary monetary would make interest go up.
Whatever it did made interest rates go down.
Yeah, I think they increased money supply.
No, it definitely didn't do. Wait, no, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I went over the test 5 times today. It definitely.
I went
money
over the
supply.
test one time today,
Oh,
and
really?
I've been thinking about that question
I
for the
need
last few hours.
I need somebody. Help.
Oh, we're thinking
Not
she
just
did songs.
anybody.
Help.
I need some.
Give me like my economics
help.
teacher.
Are we ready to go over CBD?
Are you
Oh, no, not
Yes.
yet. I was actually just thinking about that rather than doing the
I
questions.
know.
So I should. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you could tell. But I really wasn't focused. Task at hand.
I don't like question B.
It makes a big number.
That's not why I don't like it.
Well, it does make a big number. I did it. Wait, I need to put equal sign.
Did you explain and show your work?
Of course. Wait, yes, I did.
Based on the central bank's open market purchase of bonds.
They bought bonds, if that means they're
When it says
expansionary.
explain, but it's like an explanation, is like the math word enough explanation?
No, it's.
Oh, that'll be two different
it's-
things.
No,
it's
you
not what I
explained,
mean. It's
these
not
are
something
math.
Uh-huh.
This one is not, oh, it is math.
And then
Like
E,
on
how
C.
will the change in money
C,
supply and the
Show your work.
It says explain. It
So
says
like
like,
Do
aggregate
we have to
demand-
use pen on this test?
Yeah, you do.
Cool.
That's
Haha,
wait, the
friction pen.
entire thing is
Tricks
pen?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why?
I have less
Because
friends than you.
tests
Why
are
can't you
put
use it?
together. Like you close the test and then you have questions and questions. And then they put the test in a box, and then those boxes are shipped around the United States, and they do this in the back of a truck. And then
Are
the
they
pencils all like
easier too?
smudge.
Are
I
they
can't
gonna,
read.
will they get hot?
Like,
Uh,
ink and like.
No friction pens,
Yeah,
or friction pens, sorry.
that's bad, because I did my whole calc test in that.
I also did my whole calc test in friction
Wait,
pens.
Is it
you
gonna
actually?
like catch on fire?
No, but if they get hot, the ink disappears.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, that's stupid. For you.
What's a friction?
That's why you stick them in the microwave.
Who
But
puts
you
their
didn't know that?
papers in the microwave?
It's got metal.
What's got metal?
The pen.
You don't put the pen in the microwave,
the,
you put the paper in the microwave.
the rocket book.
Yeah, there's a certain rocket book that you can put
I
in the
got a
microwave.
sticker for my rocket book.
Wow. Okay, let's look at the dollar value of maximum new loans they can make as a result of her deposit. Well, they can't loan out everything that she deposited. They can only loan out 95% of what she deposited, which is $9,500.
Yep.
Because, and the explanation is 10,000, which is her deposit, minus 500 is $9,500. That was C. D says, based on the central bank's open market purchase of bonds, calculate the maximum amount of which money supply can change throughout the banking system.
So is that money supply or banking system?
Yeah, which ones?
Well, look, the response calculates the maximum amount which money supply can change the banking system as this. Change the bank's reserves,
Yeah.
which is the 10,000, all of it, because that's the 9,500 plus the 500, so everything. Times money multiplier is $200,000. So you could have done excess reserves times the money multiplier plus the initial deposit. Help.
Does that always work?
Oh, that's what I was
Aiden,
doing.
does this tell me the math about here? You see this?
Boy, look,
Oh,
Matt.
this is the same. No, stop. Okay. This is the deposit times the money multiplier is 200,000.
Yeah.
Or you could do excess reserves, which is the 9,500.
Yep.
Times the money multiplier, but plus the initial deposit of 10,000.
It's because it said as a result of the.
But how is this the same math?
Oh, because I get it now. So like,
I mean,
So-
20 times.
you're multiplying
That
this
is the second one.
10,000 times 20, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Which means that this
it makes
10,000
sense.
is 1/20th of this total thing.
That
But if
the
you,
math does
if you,
work out.
if you only take the excess reserves, then you're missing that 1/20th, and so you add it back in.
That's a 20th.
Yeah, the 10,000 is 1/20th of the total change.
Because like
the
you
mo-
said,
the multiplier
Because the
is
money
20.
multiplier was 20.
Yeah, and if it's 5, then it'd be 1/5, and this would be 4/5, and then you got
Oh.
1/5 back.
that 9.5 times 2 is 19 plus one more. is
Yeah.
So it would be 200,000.
Wow, that's math that I cannot, I mean, I get it. You explained it to me. I would never realize that that could have been the same number.
I don't see why you would do that.
I know,
That's
it
just-
doesn't-
That's like, yeah, what,
Like,
There you
why
go.
would you do, like,
It's a bunch of numbers
Like-
being added together. You should like this one.
like it just breaks it down, I guess, but still. Why would you do that?
yeah, it's all like, I have enough. I have like so many equations I have to memorize. What if I made this equation longer? And then now I memorized, yeah, I don't know.
And it's the same as the other equation, the money supply one, except for
Yes.
you have to add the initial deposit. So if you forget that, then you just put the wrong equation. That's stupid.
Yeah, it really is.
Is there anyone on the stream? Hey, 2 people. Hey,
Kristen,
guys.
stop!
All right.
Why would you
and-
put the C squared over there?
That's where you should put the.
Kristen, stop!
Because then you just put everything like
On
that.
E, it says calculate the change of money supply. Wait, how does the change of money supply affect aggregate demand at the price level? Buying bonds, which lowers interest rates, should make aggregate demand shift to the right and prices go up. Let's see what it says.
but
Aggregate and the price level both increase, explaining that an increase in money supply will result in a decrease of the interest rates and an increase of interest-sensitive spending. That just means people take out more loans and buy more things when the interest go down. And an increase in aggregate demand will go up and prices go up. Yay!
Is the AP test, is it
Doesn't
is
that
it like
also
multiple
increase our
choice in
demand-
one section
demand
and
for
all the
money
other sections
overseas?
all
Yes.
FRTs?
Yes, so you have 70 minutes to do 60 multiple choice questions, and then you'll take like a 5-minute break.
Thank
And
you.
then you have 50 minutes to do 3 FRQs, where they say spend 25 minutes on the first one, and the other 25
No,
minutes
Aiden,
between
don't
the
do
2
that.
small ones.
That's so unfair.
It's not unfair, it's plenty of time.
No, I mean like
Oh,
other
Is that
effort.
I
like
threw away
really
the one
funny?
that was
Are they that much more in depth?
The expos.
No,
I'm saying that's a
Because
lot.
that should, like, something like that should,
they should take maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which means that you have long, because they're not gonna say, move on to the next FRQ. You get 50 minutes to do everything. So if you only spend 15 minutes or, 10 minutes on one, then you have longer time to go do the other FRQs.
I just skip sleep.
What if you finish everything in 10 minutes?
No, please don't do that.
there's so much.
I could.
I want to shout out to the kid a few years ago who was on heavy pain medicine from a broken clavicle, and he signed up for the AP macro test in the drop-down box. But AP macroeconomics is right next to AP Mandarin, and he took the Mandarin test. Well, he found out about 2 weeks before the test that that's the one he actually signed up and paid for, and it was too late because the test had already been ordered. So he just learned how to say 1 through 10 and hello, how are you in Mandarin.
How do you do?
He got kicked out. They're all like, you clearly don't know any Mandarin, and so he just kept saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in Mandarin. And they're all like, you're wasting the proctor's time, because it had to be a proctor that came to like do the speaking part.
Yeah.
And so they're like, you're wasting my time. And he's like, okay. And then he got kicked back to class. That was a good year. All right.
Who was it?
God, I forget his name.
Oh man.
Yeah. I see the kid. He had blonde hair. He had like a cast for a long time. He had a lisp. He was super cute. He was just like, you just want to give him a little hug. But yeah, he signed up for AP Mandarin. All right. So let's look at this multiple choice question. It says when consumers hold money rather than bonds because they expect the interest rate to increase in the future, they are holding money for which of the following purposes?
Strange.
Speculation.
No, we're not supposed to call it out, you losers.
You loser.
So what do you think it is?
I don't know, but I'm gonna write it down.
Okay.
Oh, I know this one.
It's this one. Wrong. It's not.
What
no.
letter is that?
That's
A.
D.
That's a D.
That's a D?
That's an A.
It's an upside down.
Illiquidity?
Oh.
Illiquidity.
I thought that said liquidity.
No, that says illiquidity. That's not a word, by the way.
It's
Why
not
do we-
actually.
Why do we have to have capital I and lowercase L be the same letter?
You sound like my son, who's 8.
That's
But by now, you
It just says
Is he
it's
wrong?
I could read that as equidity.
That's why I put the lines on.
That's why I
my
picked D, because I thought it said
eyes.
liquidity.
Context clues, people. It is C. Speculation.
What does that even mean?
Expectations.
That's what I put.
Expectations and speculation mean the same thing. When you think something's going to happen, you're speculating.
That's a
part of
liquidity
US.
thing,
Because everybody
it's
was
either, right?
screaming out
No.
answers.
Yes.
It's part of the Great Depression.
You're part of the
big
big
sad.
Oh my gosh. Y'all make me great depression.
So do you.
Oh no. All right, here's another question. It says a contraction in money supply will most likely change the nominal interest rate and aggregate demand in which of the following ways. We are going to be writing out our answers and not shouting them out per Tristan's
Thank you.
request.
I can't even read
This
that.
one.
I know, but maybe you can write arrows. If you, like, what happens to interest rates and aggregate demand when money supply is contracted?
This is sort of like the. No, it's not actually like the.
What letter is that?
A.
He's Canadian.
No, he's not.
I think my brother is.
Hey,
Okay, it is A.
I probably got it.
Hey, you crafted. That's awesome. So contraction money supply shifts to the left, which raises the interest rate. Of course, higher interest rates makes aggregate demand fall. That's the whole purpose of contractionary policy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I thought he was messing with me. I thought he was
Okay,
lying.
which is likely to a decrease in the nation's money supply?
Hey, I'm reading about taxes.
I did it.
Hold on, I'm erasing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I don't have erasing. Well, you have to.
I've just been using my arm, and now my arm is turning
Well,
blue.
I'm wearing white. That's not gonna work.
I'm wearing blue. This is the answer. This is the way.
Let me see, Tristan.
This one.
Nerd.
Get it? Do you get the Mandalorian reference? It's really
Uh-huh. Does that
You
make me a
got it.
nerd?
Then you're the nerd.
fun. You can factor out all of the 1 over 0.05s.
Yeah, that's what
No.
I did.
Aiden, you're wrong.
What you
Purchase
doing,
of
bud?
government securities by the central bank.
Purchase. Purchase means buying. Buying means expansionary. I'm asking what happens with decreased money supply?
I'm gonna draw the staff again.
Decreased money supply is contractionary. Contractionary is either selling bonds, raising the discount rate, or raising the reserve requirements. I like the fact that this is a dumb word. I don't like the fact that I have to go over there to like click the thing, but like I can just be like, and like nothing happens.
I feel like there are a lot of smart words you can do that on, even though there's supposed to
But why is this one dumb?
Wait.
It's not even plugged in. It doesn't work.
Oh,
Why?
Why?
Yeah. Why is it not?
Why does it work?
No, why is it not plugged in?
Because it doesn't work.
Most of those are like
Didn't work last
fiscal
time.
policy, right?
Well, A is fiscal.
And A, B, and E.
Oh,
No,
okay.
B is discount
That's
rate.
just the way that you
That's
can go
a
about
Oh,
it.
that's
okay.
monetary
That's
policy.
just the way to go about it.
D is discount, or sorry, D is monetary. C is monetary.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was
E,
D.
E is
Tristan, I'm gonna throw this marker at you.
yes, I'm gonna do all of them like that, but in base.
Base
Okay,
clip
which
is
of
also
following
what?
will lower the price of a country's outstanding? Ugh. Which of the following will lower the prices of the country's outstanding government
Oh
bonds?
god.
Is outstanding?
Outstanding means they've already been issued, pre-issued bonds, bonds that were like, already out.
So they can only buy them?
No, there you can buy and sell bonds in a secondary market. I could buy a bond from you, you could buy a bond from me, and neither of us are the Fed.
So if the demand for bonds goes down,
Tristan,
Yes.
Dang, I'm missing like 2 answers.
I don't know if this is relevant. It's totally relevant. Do you know that interest rates
are interest
And
related.
bond prices are inverses?
Is there a price for graph for that?
Because don't bond prices
No.
like have a set interest rate?
This is previously issued bond prices, and this is not the interest rate, but the price of the bond.
But don't they like gain value or not?
Just so this goes down, this goes up.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So-
I don't know when
so-
it's answered.
E?
It's E, right?
Yeah, it is D.
Yeah.
It's definitely D.
E.
D.
No, because D would increase the interest rates, it'd decrease.
D
Hold on.
would lead to.
Hold on.
So we
The
want the
decrease in
interest
interest rate.
rates to go up.
Oh, we want interest rates
No,
to go
down.
down.
Okay,
No, we want it to go up.
lowers bond prices,
Oh,
meaning
well, I was
interest
thinking-
rates are higher.
Exactly.
A and B both decrease interest rates. So it's gotta be C, D, or E, something that's gonna increase interest rates.
D lowers interest rates.
Which means.
D lowers interest rates because that's crowding in.
Yeah, because that means that the prices
So
rise
C.
for bonds, but you don't want that, you want them to decrease.
Which one is it? D or E? Sorry,
Okay.
C or D, C or E,
Gonna
what?
go with A.
C. Or
I'm
E.
gonna go with this one, but I could be wrong. Not that one.
Okay, is there an explanation?
I need an explanation.
Yeah, I need an explanation, because
Nope,
like
they're
that
too good for
financial
that.
capital outflows, don't understand.
That means
Oh,
that financial
okay.
capital
That's like
out-
another
This-
unit.
It is, and not, this is like 2 other units combined.
Gotcha.
Okay, I kind of love this question, just because I like when so many things like to get together. Okay. So they're inverses, right?
Yeah.
We're looking for something that increases interest rates. What does this mean? What does outflow of financial capital to other countries mean?
Surplus and exports.
You're buying
Financial,
foreign stuff.
not
Are you
current account,
selling-
financial account.
You're
Are
buying
you
Oh my
foreign
god, that was
stuff.
like, that was the
You're
worst.
buying foreign stuff. Hello.
I did finish it.
Okay, but you'll be in class tomorrow? Okay, good.
Wait, so the demand for our currency is going down.
Oh, y'all are all saying lots of different things. Where are people saving their money?
Savings
Not,
accounts,
not here.
overseas.
Not here. Money's flowing out of the financial account and going to other countries. Where would they be saving their money if they were here?
In the bank.
Somewhere
In the
else.
bank. Do you know a graph? That might be referring
One
to.
of the
Oh,
funds
lower,
market.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So if I save more
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
money,
Because there's less,
A lot of.
What am I
less
doing?
supply.
that's a D.
A D and S.
There's less supply in the.
There's less supply of money in our banks because
So
people
interest
are
rates go
leaving
up.
our country, going elsewhere. There's less supply of money available because all those foreigners took their money out, and that's gonna raise interest rates, which
That's
makes the
not a
bond prices go down.
Which makes.
Wouldn't
me
that mean
sad.
that they would then put their money, save our money here?
And
That's
you just created the business cycle.
That seems like
The
a
things that
very
make it go up
roundabout
or
way
eventually
of
the things that
getting
make it go back down.
answer.
Yeah.
You just did the business cycle. Ooh. Yeah, isn't it fun? Don't
Sine
you
of
love
tidal wave.
economics?
The sinusoidal wave plus an increasing value of X.
You mean an increase in value of Y?
Okay, gotta hide this.
An article that the economy is going up too
Sine
fast.
X
Is that
plus
true?
X.
Where are you reading this?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I read
No,
that last
it's-
night.
They're just talking
No,
about.
Something like that.
Like in real life.
Oh, in real life,
Because like the price of oil and everything's like.
And like
Yes.
coffee is really expensive right now. And it makes me really
I'm
sad.
more worried about like,
I've been stockpiling coffee.
I mean, you can make coffee at home and it won't be as expensive as buying.
well, they're
No,
saying,
I mean,
well,
like
they're saying the
cold
gas
coffee.
prices this summer are going to be ridiculous. That's because all the people that were like, that didn't get to travel or take trips in the last year, everyone now is gonna be on the road traveling.
And there's less supply too, so.
Right, and so the more demand, less supply, yeah, prices are gonna go up.
So is that a yes?
That like the economy's gonna like whoop,
Yeah.
yeah.
Imagine
that's
going
not
to Colorado with high gas prices.
Didn't we just do that?
Imagine not having a
Colorado.
car in Colorado.
Did you pass college, Miss Bailey?
What's that mean?
Did you pass, like your thing you were talking about last semester, your classes?
Yes,
I
I'm in
definitely
my
will
last
live in
legal class
Ohio.
right now, but I finished my education classes and I actually got my diploma on Monday.
Did you see the selfie? She got a selfie with
Yeah,
the
and just put it
diploma.
on Facebook
No,
like a-
I don't have Facebook.
before she accepted the new.
$10,000 picture.
Old person Instagram.
Store of
Hey, hey, I
Apparently,
resent that. It's me and my diploma.
apparently in other countries, Facebook is more popular than Instagram. It just depends on like what country.
Hey, you wanna hear a party fact about Facebook?
Hmm.
There are more dead people on Facebook than alive people.
Is that actually true?
Yeah, that's actually true.
That's not helping your
There's
case.
also more dead people than alive people.
That's true, just in general, more people have died than have,
That is also
Than
true.
are alive.
no, than are alive right now. But there's more people that have been born than have died.
Isn't Facebook still bigger in the United
That's
States?
always
Yeah,
been
because
true.
That's always gonna be true. Yeah.
Did you know that because
That's
there
like
are
a non,
pregnant
that's like
women,
negative information.
the average number of skeletons in a body is always greater than one?
Wait, what?
Okay,
There's always pregnant women, so the average number
Oh.
of skeletons in a body is greater than one.
Well, the average number of legs is less than 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The average person has like half of all the normal organs that you'd expect a person of a single gender to have.
Yeah.
why?
Average person has one boob.
The average person has
What?
less than 2 eyes.
Yeah.
Because one is slightly less.
No, because
No, because
no
if
one
it
has
was
3
one
eyes, but there are
person
people
history-
with only 1 eye.
Okay.
So the average
Well,
person
don't
has
say-
less than
Yeah.
2.
Don't say there's no 3 eyes. That might not be true.
Well, there probably is, but it's not enough to bring up the average.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Took me a
but
second.
Well, if there's
Okay.
conjoined twins, does that count as 4 eyes for one person or 2 eyes? For
It's
you
not
count the eyes, you count the eyes.
Yeah.
But it's one body.
No, you count the brains,
It's not.
because the person is stored in the brain.
I thought the person was stored in the heart.
Well, if that's
No,
the
even
case-
then, that's how the heart is stored.
I thought that was everywhere.
That's just where it goes temporarily.
People have fake hearts.
It goes everywhere temporarily.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that these one person, oh, it's just one person now.
If I'm just
If
thinking,
you're lucky, your
Some, yeah,
internal
that's
organs will spend their whole lives in darkness.
Oh, God.
Wait, what was that?
If you're lucky,
I don't
your
like
internal
that.
organs will spend their whole lives
I mean,
in darkness.
if that's the
Yeah.
case, your teeth are the only bones
There's
that have,
always
like
a
should be
non-zero
off.
chance of you being mauled to death by a gorilla.
Yes.
There's
I got
always
the
a
answer.
non-zero chance of
Oh,
you
we're
being mauled to
moving
death
on.
by a gorilla.
That's true.
Oh, my God. Hey.
Cyrus, please.
Weird choice. Not a choice. My projector died in 7th period.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm his
At
please.
least
I'm his
I'm just
please.
like heard us talk.
True.
Say what I want.
Hooray. Gracias.
Alright.
It was serotonin.
What?
It was serotonin.
Yes, I got that question.
Dopamine is schizophrenia.
Oh, do you wanna see something cool?
Well, yellow
I was
M&Ms.
hoping you were just gonna like start
Food, pleasure.
You would think, but no.
Wait, which is the one? Which is the one for sleep?
Melatonin?
I don't know. It was a question on my anatomy
Oh, never mind.
quiz today.
Melanin?
and I-
No,
I
that's
know
skin.
Melatonin.
Melatonin.
Melatonin is
That's
for
like
sleep.
because of all my melanin.
The difference.
Dopamine is like
Observe my melanin.
too little dopamine Parkinson's, too much dopamine schizophrenia, too little
Lack
serotonin.
of melanin keeps me
is
awake at night.
depression.
Outshine the darkness.
All right, kids.
No, he doesn't outshine it.
How much? We're at
This kid is like
time.
If you remove it, you die.
What is that?
dopamine.
Wait, what is it?
Oh, that's so cute.
What?
It's a chemical compound for
Yeah,
dopamine.
I made that.
You made that?
I made that. And then I made this one for Tristan.
I like the one about caffeine.
Is that serotonin?
Caffeine is a drug.
Caffeine.
I'm a little addicted.
Yeah, I like caffeine.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to make it full drug?
When you're tapping,
It's too complicated.
you're tapping, you need to change it to gamma
Like,
aminobutyric
it goes
acid.
into your marrow,
I
so
got
that
the
way,
answer,
like,
though.
you can
Okay.
get, like, after
That's been
trips.
disproven.
What is this
Like,
question?
well, it's-
Well,
What do you mean, what is this
Miss
question?
Taylor, she's the psychology teacher.
Hello?
Okay, so you know what LSD, it attaches to like part of like your marrow or somewhere in your like your spine, your spinal cords, right?
Help.
And that's why like sometimes when you go on like airplanes, you can sometimes still have trips because like the
Well, why else would you go on an airplane? To take a trip.
Hopefully it's not a bad trip.
no, we were talking about this in forensics. That's why.
I've heard that.
It's
Okay.
been, I'm pretty sure it's been disproven.
But
But
isn't there that one British guy who took like 40 tabs?
Oh, yeah, the
He's
dude-
still, he's still
bicycle
like,
day, it's in November, yeah.
he's still like,
Tripping?
yeah. He still like hallucinates and stuff.
Good for him.
No.
That's,
And but he's alive. Great for
Oh.
him. He did all of the drugs.
Yeah, apparently, no, I think he like had something and he like poured it on himself, or he spilled it and it like absorbed through his skin and he just like lapped it up, I guess.
Like a cat.
Yeah.
You can't tell, but I got my tongue out.
Looking at the LSD.
Oh, my tiny little skin tongues. Drinking a gallon.
That's pores, the opposite.
This
The little
one.
cavities.
They can't lap things up, they drain things.
Yeah, the why did you see?
Oh, they suck it.
Because he said that they lapped it up, therefore you have to have little skin.
I feel like it's A.
It is A. Well, that's what I
Oh,
said
wait,
it
we're
was.
actually
It's
doing
probably A
Oh.
because I said it was A. I
Feel
said
like-
it was A in both treble
I'm gonna go
and
with
bass.
A.
Treble and bass as
I
per
don't
this
remember.
request.
No,
C.
no,
Actually-
by the federal department.
I'm gonna go with G double sharp.
I don't know. Look at B.
So A?
All right.
That's spending most likely.
No,
C flat.
C triple flat.
C. What's that story called?
Over.
Crowding out.
Crowding out.
Which means interest goes up.
Well, people are like, deficit spending goes what now? I'm like, oh my god.
It's a B sharp.
It's
B
been on
sharp.
3 separate tests.
B
but
sharp.
okay. Oh god.
Do you put piano?
Okay, let's just have
Well,
it
you
be our
said
last
baseball
one because we
earlier,
are
so I figured
fading away.
Oh, I do both.
Well, I would
It
hope
takes-
so.
It takes me a little while to count up the lines though.
It's ACK.
What's ackhead?
Bass clef, ACK.
All cows, no. All cow,
Or it's just treble clef shifted on the third.
All right.
Good bands deserve fudge all.
good boys do fine always.
I probably shouldn't put that so close to my face.
Table above shows the current entries in the T account of XYZ Bank.
The Kim purchases a bond issued by the Federal Reserve for $50,000 and pays for the bond by drawing on her company. We did this FRQ.
We did.
I did.
Because like okay,
Yeah.
it's taking
What is
out.
the effect of Kim's purchase of the bond
So many.
on the required reserve, excess reserves, and XYZ Bank
It decreases.
and the total money supply? So the Federal Reserve, Kim purchases a bond. Kim, not the Fed. Kim purchases a bond from the Fed by $50,000. She pays for the bond by using her account that's here. How will that purchase of the bond affect required reserves, excess reserves, and money supply?
Isn't it just this one?
Because you're taking direct
They all
deposits out, it all shifts. so.
Yes.
Across the board, right?
It should be across the board. I don't know what that is.
It's C flat.
Why would you choose C?
It's
No, it's C flat.
C flat is no, oh wait, no, it's.
Yes, it is.
It should be
No, you're in her
B as in boy.
B as in B.
Which is C
I'm
flat.
sorry, I play percussion.
Oh,
Wait, it's all
God.
decrease?
Yes.
Oh.
She takes the money to buy it out of her account. So there's less checkable
Oh, I thought it was
deposits.
like this was the bank, so she's buying the
Tristan,
bond.
why
No,
don't you like it?
Kim purchases the bond
I don't remember.
from the Fed using her account. So there's less money here, which means there's less money required in excess. And since she buys the bond, that means the Fed is selling a bond. Fed sells bonds, its contractionary money supply goes down. Okay, how are we doing? How are we feeling?
I just apologize. I mean,
We need to
if you're
watch
still
all the
watching.
Yes, test is Monday. If you haven't taken some sort of practice test, take one.
A little bit scary.
Just a little.
I have my Bible still. I found it the other day.
Good. Study it, memorize it.
Memorize.
Yes, the AP Macro Bible, the one we made. Okay.
I'm
The
gonna
Bible.
go rewatch all of the Bible videos and do another one.
Oh my God. No one wants to do that.
It's not that long actually. I did it all in one day because I was absent for like the entire week. It's like 3 hours.
I guess if you have nothing else to do.
It's like 3 or 4 hours.